Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this thing's working right. Got the microphone so you can hear me better. We got the camera, the iPhone camera. My normal camera is not working, but this will do, and they're getting better each and every time, and that's what we want. So, if you tuned in today, thank you very much. I'm very grateful, and you're in for some value. Today, we're talking about relationships, and that's a broad subject, obviously, but I'm gonna touch on some things, when it comes to relationships. These could be like friend relationships, it can be romantic relationships, professional and the workplace relationships, um, mentor mentee dynamic relationships. So those are some things I'll touch up on, and also reasons on why relationships are important and how they affect your life. Uh, yeah. When it comes to relationships, you know, just like anything else, it's a skill that you need to get better at, and you need to actually practice and consciously be aware of what you're contributing to the relationship and how to be better in that. Actually, both people have to contribute actively to the relationship for it to be a real solid relationship. And I feel like, in my experience, the past year or so, I've been working on that personally, being better at relationships, trying to understand the other person's perspective, trying to be more in tune with the other person's feelings and emotions, and being able to be dexterous enough to implement myself to the other person in a good, positive way, in a way that they would receive my energy well. And yeah, both people have to actively contribute and actively be communicating for relationships to actually work. Obviously, if one person is the only one trying and the other one isn't necessarily into the relationship as much and actively trying to make it a good relationship, good quality relationship, then there's no relationship there to actually improve upon. They go relationships obviously go both ways. They're like this. They go both ways. Imagine that, the arrow, the half circle arrow, and then another half circle arrow. Hopefully people know what I'm talking about, like this, whoop, and then one on top, just like that. They go both ways. It's like yin and yang when it comes to relationships. One person can't be the only contributor. That's very important. So when it comes to relationships, choose people who you know are quality people and who you know have your best interests at heart, and people that want a better relationship for themselves and that actively contribute themselves, so that when you're both contributing to the relationship, that makes the relationship actually good, and it makes it a truly quality relationship that you can cherish and experience and take with you on in life. So that's very important. Make sure, when you're with somebody in relationships, make sure they contribute something as well. You don't want a one-way relationship, because most of the time that means you're probably being used in some way, whether it be for attention, money, status. You have to be aware of these things. Make sure the relationship has a value exchange and you're getting something out of it, as well as giving something out of it. That's an important thing for a healthy relationship. Now, relationships also have big impacts on areas of your life, other areas of your life, like your work and your mood outside of work and your mood at home. If you have bad relationships, obviously that will be negative. And so this kind of also ties into it, though, when it comes to, you have to have a good active contributor. The other person has to be an active contributor as well. This kind of goes into it. Excuse me. This kind of goes into it because Because if they're not contributing, if the other person in the relationship isn't contributing, but you are, that will obviously impact you negatively, like we said, but that carries out into your life. So, I think that's a pretty obvious statement, though. Like, relationships affect you, obviously, in life. If you have good quality relationships, you know, you're going to have a better mood, be outside of life. And whenever you're doing work or working on your other skills, you're just going to have a better quality of life. Relationships are very important in that way. We're social creatures, so it's good to be sociable. A lot of people think they don't get along with people, or they don't have many friends, but maybe that could be because you're not actively putting yourself out there. And that's important to do. Actively put yourself out there and look for those people that'll gravitate towards you and that you'll gravitate towards. And once you find those people that you actually connect with, and they are out there's so many people, billions of people, there's someone out there that will truly connect with you. You just have to find them. You have to be vulnerable, put your soul out there, and express yourself. Like, be truly you, and that person will come, whether it be a relationship, a friend, or a mentor. It could be anything. Just put yourself out there, and it could be all of those things as well. Just put yourself out there, be yourself, and naturally the right person will come to you. If you're not being yourself, you're being fake, then the fakeness that you are exuding is what will come back to you. But if you're not genuine, other people will smell that on you, and people don't like liars, and they don't like when they smell that fakeness on people. So make sure you're being yourself. That's another thing when it comes to relationships. Being yourself is key. Being yourself is key in everything, though. Just be real, be true to yourself and your interests and whatever you like. Be you. Don't be afraid of whatever you're embarrassed of, certain things that you might like. Don't be afraid of none of that. Just be yourself, and the right person will come to you. That's very important. Yes, sir. Another thing to touch up on: relationships from childhood. So, we obviously have many relationships from childhood and many learning experiences from that time. And I feel like in childhood we learn a lot, and that's when we probably learn the most. And we pick up ways of acting through day-to-day life, from our parents, from other family members, aunts, uncles. So just realize, like, if you have maybe an anxiety when you are maybe talking to people, you have social anxiety. Some people have that, but realize that could be something from your childhood, and maybe it could be smart to try to meditate on it, be aware of your anxiety, and then once you're aware of it, you start to just look at it objectively without any feelings. And once you do that, you can then realize, like, oh, this problem stems from this relationship from my childhood, and how this person acted towards me, or what this person did to me. And that can also go in a positive direction too. You can have positive reinforcement in relationships from your childhood that make you a positive person today. And you can also realize that, like, you can go back and say, like, why do I think life is so great? Well, maybe somebody, when I was a child, they put that energy into me. They cultivated that type of mindset into me to be grateful for life and be appreciative of life. So it can go both ways. It can have negative effects on you. Relationships from childhood can have negative effects on you or positive effects on you. But it's your job as a person who's listening to this to go within yourself, try to meditate a bit, and try to be aware of your thoughts. And then once you're aware of them, then you can break it down and see, like, okay, why does this come from here? What happened to me for me to think this way? So being aware in of relationships that you've been in, and relationships that have rubbed off on you throughout your life, because you've had so many relationships, whether it be strong relationships or weak relationships. You've had many relationships with people, and that's many opportunities for people to have an effect on you and who you are as a person. So yeah, just being aware of that. And it's hard to be like, to sit here and just look back on all of your relationships with people. But once you meditate, you calm your mind down a bit, you can truly start to get to those type of things and be aware of your thoughts, be aware of your past experiences and how they affect you today. And once you know how they affect you, you know what what you what makes you tick, what makes you happy. You know these things. And then by taking that, you can take that into your relationship and put good energy into the other person, cultivate a good relationship with them, make a strong relationship, and then that will have an effect on their life and your life as well. So being aware of your mishaps, maybe your dark side, your negative things about you, and also being aware of the positive things about you, and then taking that into your next relationship, and taking away the bad things and adding the good things into that relationship. And that's how you make better and better relationships and form strong bonds with people. So, very important, awareness. That's a key, awareness, being aware of your thoughts, and also making sure you're actively contributing in the relationships. Both people have to contribute. Very important. Don't be used. And this next one is especially for people who want to be successful in a certain field or build skills in something. You want to form relationships with the people who you want to be like. I think a lot of people today, at least from my experience and my view, a lot of people hang out with dummies and expect not to be a dummy. Like, that doesn't work. You have to hang out with people who are successful, good people, quality people and let me finish that thought. Yeah, keep hanging out with successful, quality people, and that's how you become a quality person yourself. But also, I was going to say that you can be comfortable with somebody in a relationship, and you might like this person and have a good relationship with somebody, but that doesn't mean that the relationship is helping you outside of life. So you could have a toxic relationship or something, but you might love the person and appreciate the relationship itself. But if the relationship's toxic and the other person's toxic, then it's not going to affect you well in life. So it's not a relationship that's worth having. So yeah, you can have that connection with somebody and still be in a bad relationship. And that's where the awareness comes in. You have to be aware, like, that you're so close with this person, but you have to also be aware that the relationship dynamic isn't good for you outside in your life. So being aware, again, it goes back to being aware. When you're in your relationships, you have to be aware of, is this a healthy relationship, and does this make me better in life? Does it make me more motivated? Does it make me more happy and more gracious and wanting to give to the other person? So, or does it make you a toxic person and make you anxious? Then that's when you got to cut it off. So being aware of those things. And yeah, forming relationships and cutting off relationships, it's like a filtering process. You have to just realize which ones are good for you and which ones are bad for you. And if you see any bad relationships, you just got to cut it off. Even if you truly love the person or truly have a good connection with the person, if it's a negative relationship and they're toxic and they're not like the best person for you to hang around in order for you to get to where you want to be, you got to cut it off. If you really want to be successful, that is. I feel like that's why most people aren't as successful as they might want to be, because it's hard to get out of that loop of cutting off toxic people and relationships and then growing into new ones, because a lot of people, they stay stuck in the mud and they're like semi uncomfortable, but so they stay there. They're only uncomfortable for that little bit of time, those couple hours, but then once those couple hours go away, they're okay. But if you're really uncomfortable and truly uncomfortable, you'll cut that relationship off. And yeah, it's important to be aware. Are you truly uncomfortable, or are you semi uncomfortable? You might be like, oh yeah, this person, like, you might realize this person's toxic, but you don't want to leave them because you care about them so much, you know? But that's where it comes to, like, you gotta just cut it off and make yourself fully uncomfortable when it comes to that relationship, because you have to understand that in order to grow outside and in life and have success in your skill, and your whatever skill you may have, you have to be around people that are successful in that given skill and that have a value exchange with you, so you can gain knowledge and give whatever it may be within that relationship that you need to give to get that knowledge. That's how relationships go both ways. Yeah, it's a skill that must be improved. Social intelligence, social intelligence must be improved as well in order to have good relationships. You got to be socially and emotionally intelligent, especially if you're, in a relationship, obviously, with like a female. You obviously want to have that emotional intelligence and understand that a lot of females think more on an emotional level, and that's just like a biological thing. But you have to understand that as a man, and yeah, have your own emotional intelligence and cultivate that, which takes time as well. And having emotional intelligence, social intelligence, knowing what to say, when to say it, and understanding how the other person feels, those things go a long way in making a strong relationship. So yeah, and also, like we said before, taking the bad things from past relationships, throwing them out the window, and then bringing the good things from those relationships and the good things that you learn into the new relationships that you cultivate throughout your life. So yeah, relationships, yeah, they can go a long way. They're a very broad topic, but like I said, it can go into romantic relationships, friendly relationships, mentors, all that, professional relationships. It's just a skill that you need to build up, and as you keep building it up, you'll create them stronger relationships, and those stronger relationships will give you more wisdom, more network, more perspective and outlook on life, and that will improve your life. So that's why relationships are an important thing when it comes to being successful and being, in a good headspace in your life. Having good relationships is just key. I think everybody knows that, but everybody doesn't break it down and analyze, like, okay, how do I truly actually do that? And so this is just a video to, yeah, kind of break things down a bit and analyze the aspects of relationships and types of relationships and how they impact you in your life, and also how to be better in the skill of building relationships. So yeah, just keep getting better at those. Keep developing your social and emotional intelligence, and that will truly go a long way. And you'll notice those changes, like, incrementally. Like we said, it always goes small steps, and slow is the best way to go. Just take them small steps, and you'll truly get better. And once you start developing relationships, you'll feel it in your life. You'll feel it in your soul. You'll be like, yeah, like, I feel genuine, and this other person for me feels genuine and actually helps me elevate and I help them elevate. That's another thing. Be important. That's important. Make sure you're elevating each other, you know? And both of you are trying to get better and more, just more skilled in the relationship. And yeah, another thing that I have is an actionable step. I thought that would be a good thing to add into these videos. An actionable step, something to give you all to actually go out and do, to then that you can actually work on. And for this one, the actionable step would be go and look for people that first I'm gonna give you 2 actionable steps. So the first one would be go and look for people that are interesting to you, that would help maybe elevate, that you think would help elevate you, that you want to be like, people that you think you would get along with. Look for those people. That's the first step. The first step is to analyze, observe, and look for those people that you think you'll get along with. So that's the first actionable step. And then the second actionable step would be to actually form a relationship with those people. And so just introduce yourself to these people. If they're strangers, introduce yourself. If you know them a little bit, just try to actually get a little closer with that person if you think they're a person that you'd like to get closer to, and that would help you be more successful. So I'll leave you with those 2 steps, and yeah, try that. Try to develop a relationship, and it might not work. You might talk to the person and be like, I thought I thought we'd have a connection, but maybe not, and that's okay. That's why I said you keep looking. There's so many people in this world, and there's gonna be someone who you're like, damn, we connect. And it's just simple. It'll be natural, and you'll feel it, and you won't have to try extra hard. And trust me, you'll know when you come across the right person. You'll be like, this is simple. You'll feel like you're flowing. You feel like you're in a flow state when you're conversing with them, and when you're exchanging ideas. And yeah, so 2 actionable steps there. Observe and analyze who you think would be compatible with you, and then number 2, introduce yourself to them if you don't know them, and start and get a spark going. And if you do know them a little bit, just improve your relationship and try to gain a better insight and learn about that person more, and see where that takes you, and see if you're in that flow, if you come to that flow state. And yeah, I'll leave you with those 2 steps. Please do that, and if it works out well, let me know. I would like to hear that. That'd be crazy to actually hear somebody that maybe took these steps and then came back and was like, yeah, I actually found someone that seems cool and that I'm developing more chemistry with, and then you can continue doing that. That'd be an amazing thing to hear from somebody. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in. This one felt much more. I felt much more prepared. Obviously, I have more stuff in front of me. These previous episodes, I was going off the dome piece, son. This one, I got some notes, so it's a little bit more better quality. And I'm gonna continue to be making them better and better as they go. So thank you very much for tuning in. This was a fun one, and I hope you have a great day and keep cultivating those great relationships. I'm out of here. Peace.